Hello everybody, this is Jack from Teaching ESL Online, and today I have an interview with Vanessa Joy.
Hi!
So Vanessa is an online teacher. She is based in the Asheville area, and we got in contact 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a little while now.
Yeah.
Like in 2014, maybe? About
Something
2 years.
like that. Yeah, Vanessa posted some comments on my blog, and then she said, hey, we're going to come to Asheville for a while to check it out. So we met up with you and Dan.
That was amazing.
My wife came along. We talked all things Asheville and online business. And then since then, Vanessa has become an independent online teacher, and she is killing it. She's killing it. So we're going to talk about that. But first, talk about your time teaching in South Korea.
Yeah, well, before I found the online world of teaching, I taught in Korea with my husband Dan for 3 years. And I think it was of course great to travel abroad, but I think that was a really important time for me to shape what I thought teaching was and also what learning language means, because in that kind of strict classroom situation, there's not much flexibility, and there's always, you don't perfectly get along with everyone. There's different clashes, so I think that prepared me to do something on my own. And I think it also showed me that I like this. This is something I'm passionate about. And seeing students, especially adult students, have their eyes all of a sudden open and say, oh, I get it. I think every teacher likes that. So I think that started the interest. And then when we left Korea, or right before we left, I started searching online for how to teach English in the US, and I didn't really want to teach in a school system, so I just typed teach English online, and I found your blog right away and went through it and probably spent all night reading everything and just digesting as much as possible. And I think that really gave the oomph that I needed to say it's possible. People are doing this and there's help.
Yeah.
Which is really important, especially online. It could be kind of lonely.
Yeah, isolating.
Yeah, so it's good to have like that resource that started it.
That's great. And I remember you left a comment on an article I wrote about making videos, and you said I said, everyone share your video, and no one really did it. I think you were the only one. And some people might have followed suit after that, but you said, here's my video.
Oh, great. I just did it.
Yeah.
I thought that must have been a while ago. I don't even remember that. But I think just finding something that's a good resource like that was valuable for me. And I think it was also valuable that there weren't many other choices for how to teach English in the US if I didn't want to teach through a school. Like, you could be a tutor in person, but I think because that seemed like the best option to teach online, that's all I had. So I just had to go with it.
Yeah.
And make a video or do whatever it took.
Yeah, definitely. I had the same thing where I was teaching in Spain and I didn't want to go into that whole school system. And I was looking at the options available, and I think I would have had to take a master's as well for certain jobs.
Yeah, that's another thing that when you're online or when you're an entrepreneur, it's just your skills that count. It's not your certificate. So that was another barrier. If I wanted to teach in the US, I would have needed to get a master's or different certificates that I felt like maybe they're necessary in some situations, but aren't really necessary.
Yeah.
So even though I had 3 years experience in Korea and a year before that in the US, that didn't really count for anything, and I wasn't prepared to go back to school when I had already done that job in Korea.
Yeah.
So I think online is a great way just to practice and do your own thing.
Definitely. Initial stages, what were they like?
Well, at the beginning, I was just doing anything and everything, like making videos. The first video I made was we were traveling in France for 2 months after we left Korea. So we were farming and there wasn't stable internet. So I started just filming videos and brainstorming about social media and all that. And the first video I made was in a trailer. We were on a farm and we were kind of exchanging room and board, woofing is what it's called. But I filmed the video in the trailer And I don't know if that video is still on YouTube, but I think...
Find it.
Maybe the first one on my channel, but something like that is not great quality. It's kind of embarrassing, but I just got it out there.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of mindset helped me to just get something out there. And of course you want it to be good enough quality, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Nope.
There's so many people who have amazing videos and beautiful quality and great lighting, but they didn't start out like that.
No.
So
no, it's a really good exercise to go on your favorite YouTube channel and go to their first video. Yeah. I do that a lot. It's really interesting just to see, like, it's the confidence of the person, it's the quality of the video.
Yeah, just like speaking style changes, and
it does.
I think when you're starting, and I kind of still consider myself starting because it's the first couple years. I'm not like 10-year veteran, but at the very, very beginning, I think you're gonna make a lot of mistakes like that, or just a learning process.
Yeah. About
making videos, or my website was crazy, but it didn't matter because I think the desire to get it out there and make it better was the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. Get something out there and just keep improving upon what you have.
Yeah, I know at the beginning. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying just learning from the whole process.
Yeah. Like at the beginning, especially, I just kind of went into research mode. I think it was especially because we didn't have a stable internet connection when we were traveling, so that's all I could do. But I think that time was really valuable for me to find other people who are doing similar things like you, or other entrepreneurs, and just listen to as many podcasts and videos and webinars and research as much as possible. And I went through your course and just really trying to download as much knowledge. I think it's possible some people let that get in the way of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's also a valuable part.
No, it is. Definitely. It's, I like to, go through a course and then actually apply it and then learn from it, go back to it, do something else. You're constantly just learning and working out what is going to work.
Yeah. I remember sitting in my dad's house right when we first came back to the U.S., and it was before we decided to live in Asheville, and I just set aside time in my schedule, watched Jack's course, and I just went through as much as I could and took notes and ideas, and it's so much information at the beginning to take in, but that's just being a business owner is you've got to do everything, or learn how to do everything first. So sitting down and setting aside time to do that, and when I think about my mindset then, I was just as motivated then as now, but the information that I knew was so much less just because I hadn't had any experience. I hadn't gone through the course or researched as much. So in the last 1.5 or 2 years, that has just exploded because I've really researched a lot and has much more experience now.
Yeah.
But back at that time, realizing what I knew or didn't know compared to now is huge, just because I put a lot of hours into it, and hopefully effective hours.
Oh, definitely. So you came to Asheville. You said, okay, I'm going to do this full time.
Yes.
What were those stages like when you first came here?
When we first came here, because we'd lived abroad for 3 years, I didn't have any roots in Asheville, no job. My husband, Dan, didn't have a job here. We didn't have any furniture and there's nothing. So I think the beginning stages of this is all I have was a huge motivation.
Yeah.
I know I want to teach adults. I know that I'll like this, and I know it's going to be a huge challenge, but it's all I've got.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go to the local store and get a part-time job. I'm just going to put myself into this. And I think it helped at the beginning because we had some savings from Korea, which is part of the reason why we went there was to save money so that when we came back to the U.S., we could start doing something we really wanted to do. And that helped for a couple months while I was getting started. But just having nothing else helped me to have all day. Some days are better than others, but just put everything into that.
Yeah.
Because that's all there was.
Yeah, definitely. Exact same story with me. And what we can talk about later as well is how you've managed to build something else on the side while you've been teaching. You know, when you reach that full-time schedule.
Yeah.
So lessons. Where did you find your first students from when you first started?
It's actually kind of funny because the way I found my first students, I haven't found any students like that since.
Really?
So the first few students I found, because I lived in France and speak French, I thought, oh, maybe I could teach French students. I contacted a French group that I know from Greenville, which is my hometown, an hour south from here, and I contacted the French group and said, hey, if there's anyone from Michelin, because there's a Michelin factory there, who wants to learn English or needs some help, contact me. Here's my information. Here's my website. And there were 2 women who I taught they were wives of Michelin workers who I taught for several months. And that's actually the only local connection that I've had for teaching. But I think just having those 2 people at the beginning helped me so much to feel like people like what I'm offering, and that my style then is different than what it is now. I think it's hopefully evolved and gotten better, but knowing that people liked what I offered was really important. And during that time, I was also teaching on the side with another company just to get experience and get ideas about like, how do I work this online teaching thing? Like, how do I be an online teacher compared to classroom teaching? And I think having both of those things helps me to realize if I have a lot of students on this other website and they're really happy, then the only thing I need to do to improve is marketing. Of course, I need to improve in a lot of ways, but in general, to get students on my website, more students, I need to just do marketing. Because once they come, hopefully they'll be happy with what they have, like these other students.
Yeah.
So I think that was useful to have kind of both sides of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you had your foundation, which is what you need. You need the lessons that people enjoy. Otherwise, all the marketing tools in the world aren't going to do anything.
Yeah.
So you had your product. You felt confident with that. Did you? I think also just getting people to pay you. You know, those first payments online. It's like, this is actually a real thing, and it makes it real.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think when you first get that and realize people are willing to either pay your price and that they think it's worth it, that's something psychologically that's really important, because I think maybe it's just different people's personalities or whatnot, but at least for me, I often doubt, am I good enough? And I don't want to let that hold me back, but I think it's normal as humans. You see other people and you try to compare yourself to other styles or wondering what's happening with them behind the scenes. But when you know that it's starting to work for you, then it's important. At least for me, it was important to kind of let go of that and realize people do like it and it is helping people. So I'm on the right path.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I get that feeling all the time. Like if I put something new out there, you know, it might be a new download that people can get for free, a new course that I create, which is, you know, maybe on the low side, but still it's, you know, that first sale, and the first person who says, you know, this is great.
Yeah.
You get that feeling.
I think getting that feedback is really important.
Yeah.
And I feel like online you get that more than probably in a classroom, because the school is getting the feedback, but as a teacher, you're not really getting that. So when I make a download or make a new video and get positive feedback or neutral, I haven't really gotten too much negative feedback, but when you get positive feedback about that, you just realize, oh, this is the right path. This is really what's helping people. If it's not perfect, it's okay.
Yeah, because you're going to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of people comment and say, well, why did you say this? Shouldn't it be this instead? And, you know, you're human. Gonna make mistakes, or maybe they're gonna criticize something that's not true, but I don't know. I don't want to let that stop me.
Oh, definitely.
From making stuff, because 99% of people are gonna benefit from it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised with YouTube in terms of the comments. I was expecting something much worse.
Yeah.
You know, with students, but everyone's been like super nice. You get the odd person who, you know, is just putting it on every video, but generally speaking, you know, you put stuff out there, you get good feedback, and then just keep moving on.
Yeah, I think that's been something surprising about YouTube for me too, is that the majority of people will give positive comments, and a lot of people, whenever I say that part of my marketing or business plan is to make YouTube videos, a lot of people say, don't you get a lot of creepers writing messages or any kind of strange comments because you're a girl? And I've been so pleasantly surprised about that.
Yeah.
Like, it has hardly happened at all. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because there's not a million people watching my videos yet, but I think that's been a good thing. Well, of course it's a good thing, but it's been a good thing for me to realize the content is preceding just the fact that, oh, you're a girl on the internet. Like, there's been enough positive feedback about the subject and the topic. And, there's bound to be people out there, but I think that's been really good. So if you're thinking about making videos, don't let that stop you.
No, don't. And then when you do get those comments, you just delete them.
Yeah.
You just delete them.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world, and it's certainly not the majority.
Or as you were saying, block people.
Block people. Oh, I block people all the time. Not too many, but I'm ruthless.
Yeah, and for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, my goal is to keep the people, I have lots of goals, but one of the goals is to keep my students who I know and trust in a safe environment, because a lot of them feel shy or don't feel comfortable putting English out there. So by blocking or creating a good environment, blocking other people, creating a good environment, I'm not just pushing those people away, but I'm helping to maintain a positive area where people can feel comfortable. Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Which has been something really cool about, maybe we're going off topic, but
No.
For people who buy my courses, there's a private Facebook group, and it's amazing. Everybody in that group has been so encouraging and positive. There has not been one person who has been negative or said something controversial that's hurt other people's feelings. It's just amazing when you have a high quality of people. There's so much learning that can really happen, and I don't know, I'm just there to facilitate it.
Yeah.
I'm not telling people what to do, but I think when you've got a high quality people together, a lot of good things can happen.
Definitely. It's great.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
So the initial stages, you got those referrals, you worked for a company, or you networked to get those learners. What worked really well to help you get your own learners and to fill up your schedule? What worked for you?
Great question. Well, I think there's two main things, but they all go back to one thing. So the main thing is my newsletter.
Yeah.
So the two things under that would be YouTube videos, which sends people to my newsletter, and a Facebook ad for a free ebook that I wrote that goes back to my newsletter. So I'd say, I checked the other day, it was something like 80 to 90%, probably more like 90% of people who have ever bought lessons or courses from me have bought it through the newsletter. So there's a link in the newsletter, or they're on my newsletter. And I feel like the reason for that is just that they're getting consistent, good content, so they know they can trust putting their money on the line to get more.
And email works.
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
just works.
I mean, social media is pretty unpredictable.
No.
So it's good, but you can't hedge everything on that, because, I don't know, Facebook changes stuff all the time. I don't really use Twitter. But with YouTube, you never know when they're going to change stuff. But with email, you send an email, it's going to go to those people. And if something changes with the other social medias, it doesn't really matter. So having a newsletter is something that I did at the very beginning, which I'm very glad I did.
Yes.
And having something consistent with that every week. So every week, Tuesday and Friday, I send out a newsletter, which is tips about English, or here's a little story plus a link to the latest YouTube video that I made, or here, when I'm selling a course, then that's when I put the course out there, is through email. Here's the new course that's coming up, here's how you can benefit, blah, blah, blah. So I think email has been really useful for really reaching people, and then people will trust what I'm giving them.
Yeah.
So YouTube has been good. That's brought people in through the newsletter. So on my YouTube videos, I just have a link that says, download my free ebook, and that will send them through the process of, here's the free ebook, here's my teaching style, here's some of my personal experiences with learning language, kind of get to know me, get to know what I'll offer you, and then like some free content, and then options to upgrade and get premium stuff.
Yeah, and, which was your one-to-one lessons.
Yes.
At first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I don't really promote one-to-one lessons at all. The only way to get those emails is if you go on the website and click on the link, and it's not quite as direct because at some point I just can't teach more lessons.
Yeah.
Because my time is limited.
And you're in that transition period, maybe.
Yes.
You're looking to, and you're doing this very well, to create different products which aren't one-to-one lessons, but they are courses or your community.
Yeah. So I think that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to use my time efficiently and also help people who want it as much as possible. And I feel like there's a lot of people who want one-on-one lessons, and that's probably the only thing they'll ever buy from me is one-on-one lessons, because that's just what they want, and that's fine. But I found that when I make a course and sell it, there are people who have Skype lessons who get that course, but a huge majority of the people have never bought anything from me before, and they really like that product. So it's just something to reach everyone, or to reach other groups of people.
And to scale.
Yeah, which is good for me too, because when I wake up in the morning and see, oh great, someone else bought my course, that means they're benefiting. They're going to go through that material and, be able to improve their English. But for me too, I can make money and improve my business and improve the rest of my life, spend time with my husband, or do whatever I want to do in that time, instead of being on Skype. And I think even physically that's healthy, to not be on the computer all the time.
Oh yeah.
So mentally that's useful to just teach on Skype the people who are very serious about it and who want to do that, and then for the majority of people provide courses that they can go through.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'll just, talking about your email list as well, that can be very flexible. You can send people through different kind of paths and give them different information depending on when they sign up, and also just people who've been following you for a while.
Yeah.
So to summarize, you have an ebook, people download that book.
Yes.
You send people to that book from your social media, from
Everywhere.
YouTube, from anywhere.
Yeah, Facebook Live videos, that's always the link that I sent.
Always going to there. Right.
Yes.
So then people download this book, they're on your newsletter, they might go through an automated welcome series to say, like, this is me, this is what you can get. But then also, after they go through that, you can email those people to help them further and to sell your courses.
Yes. So if they go through the welcome series and click on a link that says they're interested in learning more vocabulary, or they just want to meet other people and talk on Skype with other English speakers, that will send them to a course or another automation series that will go through the process of explaining, here's what it is, here's how it will be beneficial for you, and then finally selling it. And of course, not everyone's going to get it, even if they clicked on it, but I think giving that option so that they can find that is really useful, because not everyone's going to just go to your website, click on courses, and buy the course. Like, they need some introduction. Like, even me, when I buy something, I don't always just get it right away. Kind of need some time to think about it, or maybe some more push.
And also it's, thinking about cold, warm and hot audiences. So if someone doesn't know you and then you're saying, oh, here's a course, I'm like, well, who is this person?
I think that's a good point. Especially, I feel like a lot of people on Facebook, well, at least when I was starting, that's something I found really useful, is that on Facebook, most people will not just click and buy something. And I think you mentioned that a lot in your course, that buyers versus what was the other word you used, like viewers or browsers. Like, people are browsing Facebook, so they might become buyers in the future, but when they're in the browsing mode, you have to give them something that's just browsing, like something for free.
Yeah.
And whenever I've talked with students, say my Skype students, and asked them, how did you find me? It's either YouTube or I was just browsing Facebook and saw your ebook and decided to get it and followed the process from there.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, I'm really, really frugal, siding on cheap. So I want to be really careful with my money. And with Facebook ads, you know, there's a lot of negative hubbub possibly about that. Oh, it doesn't work, or it might not be a good use of your money. So I wanted to be very certain that it would work and my money would be well used. So giving a free ebook, even though I'm paying for people to see that free ebook, has been totally worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means it's kind of a long-term process because people are getting on the list, and then over a couple of weeks they're going through the emails. So it's going to take time. You're not going to make money instantly, but it's a much better use of my time, and I can target the right people as opposed to just
and maybe someone who signed up to your list from a Facebook ad a year ago is going to buy your course tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think that's a long-term thing, which I'm not always patient. So I think keeping that in mind is important.
Yeah.
That it might not be today, but it could be next month. And it might be never. I think especially because we're dealing with the international market, English learners, a lot of people can't pay. They don't use credit cards in their country. They'll never pay, or maybe they don't want to. And I think it's different from other markets in that way. Like people who are selling, like for example, you're targeting English teachers for the TEOC, Teaching English Online course. So those are probably going to be English speakers from English speaking countries. A higher percentage of those people have the ability to join. Whether or not they will, it's their choice, but they have the ability to. So for English learners, I feel like there's going to be a smaller percentage who will be able to, and then you've got numbers from there if they actually will.
Oh, it's definitely a numbers game in that case.
So that's why adding more people to your mailing list through an ad or YouTube videos is really useful. The more people you have, the more chance that you'll find quality people who will join and be fans.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So, one-to-one. Now you have, introduce your course, your new product.
Well, has it been a week? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I opened the Fearless Fluency Club, which is a monthly subscription course where students will get 4 videos per month. And then there's also options for meeting other members on Skype, joining our private Facebook group once a month. I'm going to choose a featured student to talk with me on Skype, and we'll make like a Skype testimonial video for YouTube together. And the videos are like conversation, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, kind of covering everything. And I'll interview people like you. Once a month. Just a minute, we'll make that video. So I'll interview people, and it seems like everything that my students have asked me, I want to see more conversations. I want to hear real people talking. I want to really be able to use that myself. I tried to just compile and put together. So the price per month is pretty low, I feel like $27 at the moment. It'll change in the future, but $27 per month. So I tried to imagine something that for myself, if I bought this, would it be a burden to continue it? And would it be worth it for people in most countries? So most of the people who I know will be students of the course. Will it be a good value for the price? And I think it certainly is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely is. But at the same time, that means that for it to be worth it for me, I need quantity of people. And there's also, 6-month options, 1-year options to join. But that's where the numbers part comes in, that you need to have more people on your email list or more people following you who will join if you're going to do something that's a lower price.
We just got cut off there. So I was asking Vanessa about the fact that you have to think about the long term when you're doing a subscription course. And I know you went through this process of thinking, okay, I need to do this every month and deliver this all the time. And I'm not sure if it got picked up, but you talked about as well giving feedback, access to you, spending your Saturday mornings with these students and thinking about, okay, what about travel? What about, time off? What's going to happen in these situations? What's been your thought process with all of that?
Well, at the moment, for the course, the only specific time commitment I have is Saturday morning, 8 a.m., at least 30 minutes. I'm going to be on Facebook making a live lesson for the students. 30 minutes a week. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Mm-hmm. It's not as much as it would be even for a part-time. That's nothing, a half hour. So I already do Tuesday, Thursday live lessons on Facebook. And I've been doing that for months, maybe since October last year.
For your Facebook page.
Right, for my public Facebook page. So because I've only missed 2 or 3 and I just messaged on the Facebook page, it's going to be 2 hours later today, or we're going to do it tomorrow instead. It's fine. It's no problem to be able to reschedule that as long as it's in advance for everyone. Mm-hmm. But because I've already done that twice a week for months, what's one more day? Yeah. And this is for paying students who are really valuable and who are really learning and doing stuff with me and with each other. So that should be my priority. And it's just 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. If I travel, then I will probably know that at least 24 hours in advance and just write a message on the group and say, hey, we're going to have it 24 hours later than usual. Mm-hmm. Or
you can bring someone in to do it.
Someone could help, possibly.
Yeah.
Or if I'm really going to be gone or something happens, I can just record a video, ask them to ask me questions in advance, and I'll record a video about it. So I think it's pretty flexible, and certainly much more flexible than Skype lessons.
Yes.
Which are not a bad thing, and it's a great way to really hear what your students want. Like, I think all of my YouTube videos, the topics have come from something my students have asked me. Mm-hmm. And it helps me to use the right kind of language, not actual words that I use, but the problems that they have. I know how to address those because I've talked to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tons of students.
Definitely.
So that's been really helpful.
Very cool. Just to note, I'm going to leave a link about all the resources that Vanessa has talked about. Talking about email marketing as well, I've got a link for that. And then also the different ways that you can earn as an online teacher, talking about one-to-one versus these kind of products. Launching the course, putting it out there, sending it to people on your email list. How did that go? How was launch week or launch 2 weeks?
Oh, yes. Well, for the Fearless Fluency Club, it was kind of like launch month.
Yeah.
because it's a monthly thing, I created a full sample lesson set with everything. I got the transcripts made for the videos. I just paid someone on Upwork to make the transcripts. Then I just quickly reviewed them myself. Had everything made, and then a month in advance, I put that out there. People could download it for free. And then on Facebook Live, twice a week, I talked about it. We reviewed the material. Everything for a month was about that material. So even though I made it for free, I spent my time and then at least my money for the transcripts. You don't know exactly if it's going to be a huge success or what's going to happen. I had a feeling that it would be good because I've listened to a lot of what the students want, but there's still that risk that it might not go the way you expect or the way you want. But during that month, I just talked about it a lot or promoted it in not necessarily in a buy way, but here's this free content, enjoy this, tell me what you think about it, and trying to interact with it. And then during the launch week, I just had a lot of live events on Facebook, sent out emails. The majority is just email.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote an email every day, mostly once a day, not really twice. Once I sent it twice a day, but that was to invite them to another live event the next day. Mainly email, just going through a process of, here's what you'll get in the course, or here's how you'll benefit, or here's how much you could spend on other courses, kind of reaching different pain points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and looking at it from different angles.
Yeah.
To resonate with someone.
Yeah, and I think especially with people who are not learning their native language, like they're not reading this in their native language, there are techniques in sales marketing that you can't really use completely. At least I found that you can't completely use with people who aren't reading their native language.
It's an art form, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because we're copywriting for people who this isn't their first language.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's an important thing, that if you're listening to other entrepreneurs or going through a copywriting course or whatever, keep in mind that that subtle language difference might not apply to people who have no idea what that is yet in English.
Yeah.
So trying to write simply and clearly and give feedback like instantly. I was always on email or Facebook responding to questions and over giving of information to say, here's exactly everything that is, instead of saying, oh, go to the sales page. Like I said that at the end of the email, but trying to really personalize it. Because for me, if I'm going to buy something, I want to be very certain, because I'm very careful with my money.
Yeah.
So I want to be certain it's a good thing. And, you know, maybe they're going to buy for just a month and then stop. That's their prerogative. But I want them to be certain that it's going to be good for the long run.
Yes.
And over giving at the beginning is really important, I think.
Yeah. Definitely make people feel happy, content with the purchase.
Did I answer that question?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Last thing I want to talk about it is the procrastination. People buy in on certain days.
Yeah.
So what are your experiences from that?
Well,
about this launch week.
Yeah, so I have another course, 50 Natural English Expressions, and that I launched in February, so about 6 months ago or so. And during that week, it was pretty even. And almost every day, the same amount of people joined, except I tried to track which emails were more successful or reached more people's heartstrings.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, for that launch, the most successful email was the most straightforward one. Here's the course. Here's how much it is. Here's how you're going to benefit. Buy it. It was so clear. It wasn't like, have you been dreaming about this? Would you like this? It was just really clear, which is kind of funny to me, because at least I don't know if it's a female thing. I don't know if that's saying too much, but I feel like often you make excuses like, oh, I don't want to directly sell to them. I don't want to be too pushy. And maybe that's just a nice person. Like you don't want to be too pushy to somebody, but it's okay. You're selling something that you believe in. So if it's actually a good thing, you're not doing them a disservice to say, here's what it is. You should buy it.
Yeah.
So that was that launch. And then this time it was pretty different. Throughout the week, the first couple days was pretty strong. A lot of people bought. People who are, loyal English learners with me were waiting until the moment that buy button came and just bought it right away. And then throughout the week, kind of trickling. And then the last 24 hours, 60-70% of people joined, which was a relief for me, but also pretty surprising. Maybe going with the statistics, like stereotypically, they say more people will join at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
But because I didn't experience that with the other course, the straightforward email I talked about was in the middle of the week. So a bunch of people bought in the middle of the week with that email. But with this one, a lot of people bought at the end. And I tried to speculate why that was. And it could have just been an urgency thing. Like the 20% discount is going to be gone in 2 days. And also the course finished on my birthday, which I planned because, I don't know, people like to celebrate other people's birthdays.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a good way to get a lot of people together too, and get a lot of activity happening around birthdays and that kind of celebration. So I'm not sure if that had something to do with it, but I think just at the end, people don't want to lose that discount and get it. And even after the discount's closed, people have still bought it, which is great. And out of all of the people who've bought it, not even 1% have gotten a refund. So that's good.
Fantastic.
And the people who did, I could tell from their email it just wasn't for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, their email was just a couple words and they couldn't understand the material. I'm sure they wouldn't have understood the material. Or they were looking for like a business course. Mm-hmm. And I clearly say it's not a business course, it's conversational. So it's just not for them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give something to people that's not good for them. So.
Yeah. Well, great. And I'm sure, the next 12 months and beyond are going to be very interesting to see where you're going to take it, the different marketing methods that you can use to get people in there, how the course is going to develop.
Yeah. I think it's endless.
Yeah.
Limitless.
I was going to say we'd love an update, a few months' time.
Sure.
So, where can people find you?
They can find me at my website, speakenglishwithvanessa.com.
Yeah, so check out the website, have a look at the course. And like I said before, check out the description to see the links and resources that we've talked about in this lesson. And please share this with anyone who would find it useful. So thank you for watching. Speak to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.